Okay, so we're going to do a review of Spades Stars, which is probably the worst Spades game in the market. One, probably get away with a little bid 3 to make them a bit overconfident, and they're not. But again, you can only play against bots, which is a major problem about this app because the bots always play exactly the same, which is to say not very good. They're quite easy to force to bag out and set. But you don't get to see that because the game is going to force me to watch an ad. And the round just started, so you can bet there's probably going to be another one that it's going to force me to watch before this game is over. Which is problematic. Besides being incredibly annoying and frustrating because it just never stops. You know what's also problematic about this is the fact that you don't get to really remember what cards have been played because it's like if someone kept pausing you game in the middle of a Mario game when you're making a jump, would you remember if there was a bottomless pit in front of you and you need to move left or right? Or would you just forget about that because somebody freaking was rude enough to interrupt your game like that? You know, it's sort of like I can't remember what cards have been played and which ones haven't been played because the game just keeps on distracting me every 2 seconds to freaking force feed ads. You want to get rid of these ads, by the way, just close the app and reopen it. It's ridiculous that I have to do that in the first place, but hey, at least it works. Especially since sometimes these ads don't even work right. There's one ad that kind of sticks on the screen. Was that just for a month of no ads? Not even just permanent no ads? But yeah, it's sort of like there was one ad that kind of sticks on the screen and no X to close it out ever shows up. There's another ad that kept, see if it does the ad break thing. Sometimes it'll do this ad break stupid crap in the middle of the game and make you watch an ad because they can't even wait until the dang, yeah. See, that showed up. And it, by the way, this is a lie. My version is not outdated. It showed up, and then when I closed out of the ad break thing just kind of stuck there, and wouldn't let me continue playing the game unless I closed the app and reopened it. Which just, it's like, if you're going to force feed people to watch ads, here's an idea. How about make sure your ads work so the game doesn't get stuck? That would be a good thing, right? Not going to fall for that again. And I think we're going to get... Okay, no. Look, watch an ad to lower the amount of
My
chip
pay
count.
lets you get up to
Yay!
$500 of your
Not
pay before
necessary,
payday
thankfully.
with
We
no
almost
mandatory
got set,
fee.
but we didn't. Which is just unfair. How do they allow you to change what happens in a game by watching ads? That just sort of seems unfair. Of course, you're only playing against bots, so who really cares, right? Oh, wow. So this is a real close game. Next bid's going to be really important, but... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 6. So we got to make the bid. Yeah, I'm actually commenting on the gameplay right now. Oh, look, that's another thing. I'm glad I did this because these cringy emojis are just always showing up. The bots do them sometimes. I don't know. I find emojis to be cringe personally.
But can we talk about...
Fuck off. God, I just want to play through the game without being harassed. I think we've won. Yeah, we won. And we're even going to set them too. The crying emoji's me inside. You notice these things popping up on the top of the screen, by the way? That's experience for another app, which is the only reason I'm playing this. Because the game actually pays you small amounts and not enough to compensate for this ad trauma. But it pays you small amounts to play through games of Spades. I'm not sure exactly how much each game does. But that's the only reason you play this, honestly, is because another app pays you, but it's such a paltry amount, it's not worth suffering through the ads. And again, you'd probably have to watch even more ads if I was going to continue playing this, because I played for 250 and I only won 325. That's way less than 2-1. So long term, unless you're really good at manipulating the bots or really lucky, you're going to end up going bankrupt, because who can win enough games to break even here? So what do? You have to watch another ad to double the amount of payments you get. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how reliant on ads this is. And as I said before, it's so disruptive. Like, it's so disruptive. How can you remember what cards have been played? How can you remember what suits people avoid in and not make stupid, easily avoidable blunders because the game is making you so mad you don't remember, and because it keeps distracting you, how can you remember long term? Because again, I can remember I can sort of remember some of the cards that have been played, like the important ones, like the high spades, the high hearts, how many tricks of each suit have been played, if I'm not being forced to watch ads all the time. But then I have to take my focus off paying attention to what's going on to close out of the ads, which distracts me and disrupts my short-term memory. This app sucks. It really does. They're more interested in force-feeding ads than actually making an enjoyable experience, and in some cases over actually making a functional experience. Because again, sometimes the game has ads that you can't close out of, or that freeze the game and soft lock it. So you have to basically close the entire app and reopen it just to freaking continue playing. Let's do something. Let's do the first half of that. Let's close the app, but let's not reopen it, because it sucks.